Evening once again. A couple of confessions. You must have seen a lot of electronic screens this time, LED, plasma. They've all been wired up with special cameras, and they're tracking all the people who are not in the seats and standing outside in the auditorium. So they're automatically disqualified from getting their raffle prizes, so don't tell this to them. These intelligent cameras are also catching people who are, sort of stifling a yawn. आपको लगता है कोई देख नहीं रहा, लेकिन the camera is watching. So be careful. Second confession, I'm actually a sucker for standing ovations. So I choose my guests in such a way that because of them, crowd थोड़ा खड़ा होता है और मुझे लगता है कि मुझे standing ovation मिल रहा है. So let me introduce you to my guest of today, Jinesh Mehta. He's a serial entrepreneur, I hope I pronounced that right, with business interests across packaging, fragrance, beauty, distribution, and contract manufacturing industries spread across the globe. A born printer, Jinesh is a London College of Printing alumni with first-class honors in print media management and holds several international and national awards to his merit in printing and packaging excellence. Based in Dubai, Jinesh owns and is the CEO of Print Trade FZE, a leading turnkey solutions provider to some of the most well-known beauty brands globally. He is also the co-founder of Sential's Beauty Care and Wellness, which is India's first celebrity-led beauty business, where Unilever is an investor, and has partnered with several sports and Bollywood personalities. Here these guys: Virat Kohli, Tiger Shroff, Lara Datta, and Disney Marvel. He is also co-founder of brand Fresh, it's spelled as FRSH, with Bollywood megastar Salman Khan. Now there was a very long introduction which he and I shared over a lot of WhatsApp. But then he sent me a video of what he's doing in Dubai. So I said, let's cut this short. Let's see his video. I think once that happens, you will not need any further introduction. His video, please. जिसकी भी फैक्ट्री है अपने दिल पर हाथ रख के बोलो, थोड़े तो आंख में आंसू आ गए कि आई विश माय फैक्ट्री वाज समथिंग लाइक दिस. So, ladies and gentlemen, I call upon stage a guy who hobnobs with Salman Khan, Ariana Grande, and Katy Perry in the same evening, Jinesh Mehta.
Well, thank you very much, Iqbal Bhai, for such a lovely introduction. Well, it's so nice to be back, at the Print Summit. It was 15 years, technically 17 years ago, the first Print Summit when my father and I were on the dais, and it was a pa and son conference, if I remember right. So it's great to meet everybody.
Maybe we were not good enough?
No, it was. No, last couple of years we've been talking, and COVID, of course, didn't help us get together. But it's an honor, it's an absolute honor to be back, meet all my old friends and colleagues from the industry, a lot of leaders here, stalwarts here. So it's really quite humbling to be back.
Lovely. So, Jinesh, I've been seeing your video and the crowd has seen it too. So I would like to just hear a little bit about your own story from yourself. But before that, just a quick question. How many people in this audience don't understand Gujarati? Can you please raise your hands? Who don't understand Gujarati? ये सारे फोटो अमित शाह को भेजो अपने इधर वाले. Okay, so we are limiting ourselves to Hindi and English. Please, go ahead.
So what we're going to do, Iqbal Bhai, is try and keep it, very crisp, quick, so that I know a lot of people are very tired. I see them a little dozing off. So I think.
No, don't worry.
So
once you start,
I'll be very brief. So it all started about. It's been about 18 years since I came back from the London College of Printing, joined my family business. We were back then one of India's leading luxury packaging manufacturers. My father and his younger brother at that point in time had built a good business for ourselves. So once you're born a printer, you're always a printer, no matter what you do. So the print is still in my blood. So I think for the first about 5-6 years is when I expanded our family business footprint to nearly about 45 countries worldwide. There was always this thing in me that there could be something more could be done. So I think about 14 years ago, so end of 2009-10 is when I branched out of the family business. Of course, it was not an easy decision to move away from the comfort zones of what you've studied, what you've learned, what you've been groomed into from your childhood till opening each and every factory, doing the puja of the machines, etc. to moving to a completely different, world, be it a different geography, different industry, and a different mindset altogether from being a manufacturer to, at that point in time, being a sourcing business. So that's owning the change to the greatest extent in my personal career journey so far. So I think, at Unitrade in Dubai, basically what we do is we partner with brands and brand owners around the world, a lot of designer fashion brands, largely in the US and in Europe. And we, participate in their entire product development journey from concept creation to designing the actual primary and secondary package, the glass bottles, the caps, the boxes, all the way up till contract filling, the actual product, and then using our network of distribution across the world to be able to push the products out into different continents. So in a nutshell, this is what Unitrade does. So, I was always used to thinking out of the box, as my father always used to say that kuch alag hona chahiye, kuch naya hona chahiye. And back then when we started Unitrade, I started thinking inside the box, and I think I fondly call myself a thinking inside the box. So it wasn't an easy journey, when you move into a new industry, initially trying to get the new supply chain right, getting the whole China setup, the China offices established. We went deep into China, a lot of support from my wife, from the family, spending 20 days on the ground. So it was a lot of hard work. I had the background, I had the backup from the family in that sense, so I was not struggling, but at the same time I was exploring an unknown category, so to speak. And, step by step, I think it just happened very naturally. First we started sourcing components out of China, brought them into Dubai, started filling in France. As we speak, 2023 will be our first US manufacturing setup, which we are currently working on.
Wonderful.
So by the end of this year, we'll own a pretty large filling operation in Piscataway in New Jersey. Super. So it was very natural for me to take these steps one after the other.
So you continued printing, it's just that you changed the substrate.
Absolutely, you can say that.
You stopped we all stopped at paper, you decided to go ahead.
Well, I kind of did backward integration too, as much as I could probably do. And then, just touching upon a little bit at what we do in Essential. So in 2017, myself and Mahesh Bhupati, we co-founded this business.
Lara Datta's husband.
Correct.
And we don't know him as Mahesh Bhupati.
Correct. And we were friends for a long time. And, I had this idea because we were working in the Western world with a lot of good celebrity brands. We had Katy Perry, we had Ariana Grande, Nicki Minaj. So the celebrity beauty space was very big. And that's the time when the Kylies of the world and the Huda beauties of the world were coming up. I said, why don't we, there was no successful Indian beauty brand at that point in time from a celebrity perspective. There was always, the myth was nahi celebrity brand chalta nahi hai. And rightly so, because pehle nahi chala tha. So that's when we both co-founded Essentials. We went on to got our first brand license with Virat Kohli.
Wow.
And we got him to, agree on an entire fragrance category with us. We launched a brand, it's called 18. It's distributed across about 150,000 outlets in the country. And step by step, we got further more celebrities. Thereafter, we, thought that, Unilever came on board as well, pre-revenue. And we decided that why don't we do something else where we co-own the brands with the celebrities. And that's when Salman happened. And we co-own the brand. So now, that's a complete value creation journey. I think a lot of printer friends that I have, who are from my generation, the second generation in print, we are also busy trying to build what our fathers, the legacies that they have brought up. And that's also not bad. That's the right thing to do as well. I chose this path. My family was supportive, and God has been kind. We've been able to grow. I mean, today we buy more print than we used to print ourselves. So
I can't seem to understand why God is kind only to hardworking people here. That's not fair, no?
Well, still you need his blessings, right? Yeah. So that's.
So Jinesh has literally lived out of the suit figures for the first 2 years, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, I mean, for the first 3 years, to be more precise, and then I've been back and forth. You couldn't see my daughter grow up in the first 2-3 years at home, but then now, thankfully, we are together.
Acha, Jinesh, we keep on talking about this China plus thing, and then there are very ambitious people who talk about India plus. I think that's a little away.
Yeah.
I mean, we are being very optimistic in the near future. Of course, gradually this is going to happen. Now, when we are talking about China plus, you have set up a large factory in Dubai. So how do you think this China plus thing will help Indian manufacturers set up that similar industries in India? Or as we had a discussion early in the morning about, Ranesh talked about geographical expansion. So do you think setting up a factory even out of India is a possibility?
Look,
And what has made you set up such a large plant over there?
Right. So, I think there are two bits to this. One is the China plus. To be honest, initially as a business, this goes back, my Dubai business, this goes back to 2011-12. We were a bit biased about setting up in China because of the sheer flexibility we had with the speed that we wanted to launch our products. Unfortunately, we didn't get it here at that point in time. I sincerely think, and we've already started our journey on that side, I do not think that India is China plus one. I think India is the one.
Wonderful.
I do not think that we deserve to be called China plus one. I mean, if as practically, सबने आज बात किया है, सबने बोला है कि नहीं इंडिया में innovation है, India plus one है, etc. etc. But if not India, who else?
Yeah, absolutely.
In the Eastern Hemisphere, between China and the UAE or the Middle East, there's Vietnam, there's Bangladesh, who else if not India? So we have that opportunity to be able to grow to that extent. We have the right minds, we have the intellect, we have access to capital. Gone are the days when, you wanted to buy a press and you just had to go to the bank. Today you could have, if you want to, lots of different forms of means of raising capital. You have family offices, venture funds, seed fund and whatnot, right? Absolutely. So, but having said that, there are also some challenges. As much as, we as a nation are getting together to, become a manufacturing superpower, which we in some form have always been, thanks to Modi ji's initiative of Atmanirbhar Bharat and Make in India. All of this sounds great. And I know that at the grassroots level, a lot of my manufacturing friends, when they speak to me, आज भी हम लोग बात कर रहे थे सुबह चाय पे के, these are the challenges. There are some little challenges, like in any other industry there would be. And I speak to my glass makers, I speak to our plastic molders, because we still source, by the way, a lot of products, although we own factories, but 80% of our products are still sourced. I think the primary difference that I have seen being on both sides of the fence, I've been a manufacturer in India for a long time. And then I've been a very large sourcing business in China with 2 very large offices, both in south and north of China. One of the main things that I see is the power of collaboration that we don't really have. I wouldn't say we lack, but that is something that we all can, as Indian manufacturers, can improve upon. And, to give you a simple example, आप China में एक, carton लेके जाते हो. Because I'm saying carton because it's relevant here. If they can't do it, they wouldn't refuse the job, neither will they screw the job up.
Okay.
They'll go to a neighboring vendor, take you to them, speak in Chinese, उनके भाषा में बात करके, they'll get the job done, they'll make money, both of them, and you'll get your job done. I think we need to have this kind of competitive landscape in India is very different. We have been brought up that way, and that's nothing wrong. We are quite, territorial in the way we operate. And I think if we can all together, this is something that's in our control.
Yeah.
The Make in India initiative are very large. What Mr. Jinping and Mr. Modi is doing, they are doing at their levels. But as printers, as converters, as glass makers, as plastic molders, if you all can get together at some form, I know it's not easy, easier said than done, but if we take that initiative, then a lot of things, अभी मुझे नहीं मिल रहा है, शायद आपको पता होगा technology, शायद उनको पता होगा, board अच्छे से मिलता होगा किसी और, and if we can try and collaborate. BMPA launched this share to benefit when I was attending BMPA. I don't know if it's still
of course,
active.
very much, pretty
and
active.
This STB was a very cool thing, right? This is exactly where I'm coming from, that you've got to try and collaborate together.
Yeah. No, see, I feel that US was stupid, they shot down all those balloons. India, mein aata to we would have brought them down, put a dhaga on it, and probably on Sakrant we would have had a great time. We are talking about leveraging technology. We were discussing about this. How are you leveraging your technology to run these massive factory? And you said a very nice thing last time, about something like be the owner and not the doer. So how does that work?
Yeah, I mean, that was, the context was different, but yes, it does to hold true even to date. I mean, the way I look at things. I think, look, talking of technology, I mean, the stalwarts that I met here, there are a lot of industry leaders. The amount of investment that we in India make in technology, let's talk of print again. I don't think even the neighboring countries are doing that. Equipment-wise, we still try and get the best. We still try and go to the best equipment manufacturers in Europe, in Japan, in China, wherever they might be. And we bring in the best equipment. I think for us as a business, what's really worked, apart from investing into GMP, standards units and getting the best technology on board, I think is choosing the right people. I think that really makes a big difference.
Well said. Well said.
And it's as basic as that. Everybody knows that. I'm not saying anything new. But what's really important is what even Swamiji said today, right? To make it win-win.
Yes.
I think, a lot of times we employ good people, but we do not make any effort as a business to upskill them or reskill them. Every piece of equipment at some point will become complacent, right? Same way, people also need to be constantly trained. A lot of good companies I see out here have done that, and they've already been very, very successful. So the way I would speak for myself, the way we do it in Dubai is, I have 3 units. The 4th unit is currently ongoing. We are getting into glass bottle decoration for our captive consumption of glass. I don't think I visit my unit sometimes for 2 months.
Wow.
And we still run this unit. So I think it's creating the right SOPs, the right KRAs, the right KPIs, getting the right team to run. Invest. You're spending $2-3 million on a machine. Get a $200,000 employee to run it. To run your factory. It's as simple as that. And get the right people on board. Pujya Swamiji told a very good example on the same line, and I connected these 2 dots very nicely in the morning, in this afternoon.
Yeah.
So I think it's probably to do with...
So we run a program called Seekho or Samjho, where we get, qualified people from the industry to train, not the managerial level people, but the workers and all that. But we find it a big challenge to get people, factories to send their people to learn and train themselves,
Yeah.
We are worried about poaching, we are worried about a lot of things. But you're right, unless you upskill your people, this is never going to happen.
Correct. Look, poaching, that's why my earlier point as well to you, that we are a bit territorial. I think we'll have to stop thinking, अरे आदमी छोड़ के चला जाएगा तो क्या होगा? सब चलता है. बहुत लोग छोड़ के जाते हैं दूसरी जगह, दूसरा आदमी आ भी जाता. As long as your crux, your foundation is set right and the systems are in your control, then it doesn't
create
matter.
that environment where people want to work with you.
You've got to get the best, team on board, and then the orchestrator can change. It's fine.
Yeah.
As long as you have the right orchestra, right? So that's how it is.
So in these 12 years of running this unit trade, you must have gone through everything, The initial trauma of getting into a completely new country, staying without your family, then this working with China, having 2 offices, trying to set up a factory in Dubai, 2 years of COVID. In this entire period, what exactly would you define as having owned the change? Where you can say that, okay, this was the period when if I had not done this, then I wouldn't be where I am.
Look, I'll probably backtrack this to 10 years. First one, which I already mentioned to you, was the decision of moving away from your comfort zone. I think that and I tell this to my cousins, to my friends, that, let's not do the ordinary, do different, do something new. What's worse that you can lose? Right? And I looked at it that way. At least for me, that worked out. I think in the last 5 years, every year was different. The last 2 years of COVID, pretty much everybody in this room have been through that.
Yes.
From being a PPE trader to being whatnot, everybody has done every kind of thing. I think change comes in 3 forms, according to me, right? One is, if it could be opportunistic change, it could be a circumstantial change, or it could be a forceful change. I would like to be in the first part as much as I possibly can, if at worst in the second part. So I think the last 5 years have been a combination of the two. I think owning a unit in Dubai was not in my agenda 5 years down,
Really?
from today. Yeah. I think it was more one of our key markets imposed certain anti-dumping duties on Chinese products. And we had just before COVID done the greenfield project, the planning was done, the consultants were hired to invest, the machines were kind of, shortlisted. And then came COVID. So it was a blessing in disguise because at that point in time, each and every customer of ours in the Western world, and these are all very large brands,
Yes.
started calling us and said, hey, can you find me an alternative to China? It's not that they hate China, but it's just the sentimental value because of COVID was so bad. And I think all of us know about it, right? People have been, and that's why India poses such a great opportunity. So for us, that was one of the key points where, we decided that let's get manufacturing closer to home in Dubai. And, we did it.
So that, according to you, was that point where you would...
That point, I would say, was probably because I was once a manufacturer, moved out to being called as a global manufacturer without any factory. I mean, I've ran a pretty large business for the first 8 years without owning a factory. And I was owning 80-90% of the capacities of each and every factory we worked with.
So collaboration, I think you would also...
So we were a very asset-light business. We were focused on higher profits and we were focused on driving value. We had a lot of offers from the West, because this business is all about creating value. And to now, again, going back into manufacturing, which is fine, and we are running well. Our productivity, our outputs are good. Our operational efficiency has been perfect based on industry standards. So I think it's just being agile to be able to implement to any kind of adversity and make that as an opportunity. I think that's the way I looked at it.
Actually, we have a few minutes, so I'll ask one more question, which was which we didn't think about earlier.
We did well, huh? That means we didn't make people go to sleep.
No, so the point I'm trying to make is that you are not old enough to be preachy. You're not young enough to be brash. So you're at the right age when you can actually advise people who are now deciding to take a step as to what they should do. Those who are predominantly print mindsets, what would you advise them? Do they follow your path of looking at something beyond print? Or do you think that there is a huge opportunity in collaboration, or what? Let's hear from you.
So look, I don't think there's one right or wrong formula for anybody. What's worked for me may not work for you, or what's worked for you might not work for me. I think it really depends on what resources are available and how much are you, willing to put yourself out at risk to, right? Collaborations are great if you can make them happen. We tried some strategic alliances with some American printers, some French printers, never worked for us. Unless there is a financial involvement, those kind of collaborations don't work. But working together within your inner circle, where you have your strengths and I have my strengths, and we are together working on now developing a particular client or account, that's great. And that would certainly work. Especially to the young friends out there, I would sincerely, I wouldn't say advise, but my suggestion would be, please just go out there and dream big and do it. I mean, I don't think there's any... I was a print technologist. I am a print technologist, and I did my first class honors and Daily Mail newspaper and all that. I was very proud of when I got back to, to my father's business. Never had I thought that one day I'll own an injection molding plant, the other day I'll own a glass decoration plant, and then I'll be filling perfumes and cosmetics. Wonderful. And talking about owning celebrity, led beauty brands. So there's no limit to what you can really achieve. I think it's all here. And today's speakers, all of them, they are all amazing leaders in their own fields and respects. And they all have told you, all of us, the same thing, that just go out there and explore. Don't, keep thinking. That's what, again, I'll quote back to Swamiji because that's the most fresh in my mind. Even morning, what Mr. Lele said, what Mr. Mani said as well, that, people are important. Get the right set of people. Go and do the innovative, put your innovative ideas out there and see, what have you got to lose? Are you going to lose your house with that idea? Then please don't do it. Then you better start focusing on trying to get somebody on board with you. When I went, I had limited resources. Today we have, by grace of God, we've done well for ourselves.
And just one final question, it's a little out of the syllabus, but we keep on hearing Shah Rukh Khan, 1,000 plus crores, Salman Khan movie, 1,000 plus crores, Virat Kohli, 2,000 plus crores. So is Unitrade, FZE also thinking of 2,000 plus crores?
I have a very, very good answer for that. You please don't ask me and I won't tell you.
Okay. So I didn't ask you and you didn't tell me. Thank you so much, Jinesh. It's been wonderful talking to you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Brilliant. Lovely. Thank you very much, Jinesh and Iqbal. Please stay on stage. I'm going to ask Ankul Nanavati and Milap Shah to please honor both Iqbal as well as Jinesh. Jinesh has flown down all the way from Dubai for us. Thank you very much, Jinesh.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Big round of applause, please.